to fight it? Yes, it is. Let's pause that there. This is off. Good. No, here we are. So welcome everybody. As I mentioned, we're actually going to get started today standing, unless you really do not want to stand, in which case find your comfortable seat. Otherwise, find yourself at the top of your mat, shake out the legs a little bit, just do whatever you need to give yourself the same sort of sense that you would have seated. And then you'll start to make smaller and smaller movements as you just find stillness. And for the 2, maybe 3 people who are new to me or newer to me, I will do my best to be done at shortly after 1 o'clock. That's what I'll say. We will probably be in our Shavasana or going into it right around 1 o'clock. If you need to leave sooner, you are welcome to leave sooner. I'll give a couple of things here. 4 blocks. Let's get the nice blocks. There's those. And I'll get some straps. And one thing we were playing around with last week a couple of times through class was just a little bit more focus on our grounded stance. And as I've talked about in other classes at other times, that we can come and just stand at the top of our mat, and that can be our Tadasana sometimes. Tadasana, though, is a pose. It is more than standing. And so we'll start with building some grounding energy and work here from the beginning of class. So take a look down at your feet. Just see that your second toes are pointing about straight forward or parallel to each other. And you can take hips width distance if that feels nicer. You can take wider than hips width distance if that feels amazing today. You can add a little more fire and bring the feet to touch with just a little space between the heels and the ankles. And as we lift shoulders up toward the ears, let the palms spin forward. And then really feel yourself ground down through the big toe ball mound, through the pinky toe ball mound, maybe so much pressure down that you can lift some or all of your toes. Oh, now we're not going to listen to Flaming Lips. I would be okay with that, but. And as you ground down through the big toe and the pinky toe side with the toes reaching and lengthening, also start to put a lot more weight into the heels, not more so than the balls of the feet, but to feel evenly grounded through the front and back of the foot. You can slowly let the toes come down to the floor, and maybe you look down just again and just see the toes are placing down and they're not starting to grip and do the support work for you. Then with the toes light, our feet grounded, our arches active, and the muscles around those really supporting them. Stand a little taller. You can let the shoulders lift toward the ears once again and settle a little more strongly on the back. And either staying just like this or with the eyes closed or your gaze soft and unfocused, you can bring your hands to heart center. And just take a nice full breath in, feeling the belly expand. And exhale out. And the next in-breath comes in and down and maybe goes past the belly, and you feel a little bit more groundedness through the feet. And one more time, just like that, and as we often do, right as the exhale is about to begin, activate your core, draw belly button in and up to lengthen the low back, to be more intentional with your exhale. And you can either let the eyes flutter open or bring your gaze back to focus. And now release through the feet. That actually feels like a lot when we do that for a little bit, right? Something very similar though, right? When we're returning to mountain pose, can we find this kind of groundedness all the way from the very beginning and all the way from the very base? Good, release hands down by your sides. On the inhale, reach up, turn the palms forward. And on the exhale, as you're pulling down like you're doing a pull-up, also sit back and down into your chair. So there's a little bit more of a cat shape here, or a cow shape here in our chair, which is not what we usually do. And on the next inhale, come back to tall mountain, interlace the fingers, and as you press the palms away from you, tuck the tailbone round the back like a cat stretch in our chair pose, Utkatasana. On the inhale, reach back up once again. Good, palms forward. On the exhale, pull down as you sit back and down, maybe a little further back, maybe a little further down, maybe a little more lift through the heart without losing that engagement through the core. Inhale, stand tall once again. Interlace the fingers the exotic way, different pinky finger at the bottom of the interlace. And same thing on the exhale. Round the back into a changed, modified chair pose. And on the inhale, come back, tall mountain once again. Exhale, release hands down by your sides. Good. Move through a sun salutation. Be here, add a lot, and then we'll get nice and warm. Inhale to reach up and lengthen. Find that groundedness through the feet again. Can you keep that? Keep a little bend to the knees and a little hinge from the hips as you reach forward, trying to stay neutral through the spine and strong through the feet. And as the fingers find the floor, you can let the legs straighten a little bit or a lot. Just a nice breath in here, really feeling the heart melt and the shoulder blades hug together on the back. And on the inhale, come up just enough to step one foot back and then the other for your plank. We're doing a sun salutation B here, so we'll start to add a lot more to it. You can always have knees down in your plank. We will start though with Cobra, or some of us might take Sphinx pose, and as we move through the rest of the sequence, we'll do Chaturanga and Up Dog. Everyone's just hanging out here, listening to me yammer on while we're in plank pose. On the exhale, you can lower knees if that is more safe and stable for you. Otherwise, let the hips and heart lower halfway down, pause. Finish all the way down to the floor. Untuck the toes, and as you press the tops of the feet down, curl heart forward, crown of the head up. Staying here low in your cobra, or beginning to straighten or lengthen the arms without the shoulders creeping up to the ears. Good, exhale to lower back down. Tuck the toes, this is where it gets interesting for some of us. Keep pressing down through the left foot, the left ball of the foot. Lift the right leg away from the floor and point the toes away from you, and push up through three-legged plank or plank. Back to three-legged dog or down dog for some of us. And if you came into this through down dog, your next inhale, you'll lift right leg for three-legged dog. Bend the knee, deeply heel the sit bone as you push yourself forward into core plank. Draw knee to chest. One big step or many little steps to get your right foot at the top of the mat. Staying low if you would like to. Bringing hands to thighs for more stability, or reaching the arms up and overhead. Noticing here our strength through the core to stay neutral and lengthening the low back while we stay grounded through that right foot, almost like in mountain. Good, on the exhale, frame it out. Step up and back to three-legged dog. If you'd like to take this into a hip opener, feel free to do so. Stay in three-legged dog or come to down dog. If you're in the hip opener, come back to three-legged dog. Exhale to down dog. All of us from here, inhale, push forward to your plank. You can lower all the way to the floor and take another cobra. You can bend the elbows back toward the hips, lower halfway down with the shoulders lifting and heart melting, and turn this into up dog. Untuck the toes. Keep the thighs lifting away from the floor. Heart continues to reach forward, whether you're in cobra or up dog. And on the exhale, back down to the floor or chaturanga. Stay on the top of the ball of the right foot. Lift the left leg, point the toes. Push up through three-legged plank. Exhale, back to three-legged dog. If you're in anything other than a three-legged variation, left leg lifts, knee bends deeply, hug forward to the chest as we come through core plank. Again, one step or many. Set that left foot down. Stay low to the ground on this side. Bring hands to thigh. Reach both arms up. Lengthen the spine. Check in with yourself. Good. On the exhale, come back down to the floor. With the hands, step yourself back to a three-legged dog. Take it into the hip opener if you would like the hip opener. Good. Inhale back to down dog. You can lift through the heels really high and walk to the top of your mat, or start to put more weight into the palms. Bend the knees deeply, jump to the top of the mat, thinking hips over shoulders rather than feet forward. Use blocks here. We'll be here for just about 3 breaths so that we can let gravity do the work of stretching out the back. If you're using blocks, maybe after another breath, you lower the blocks to a different setting or remove the blocks entirely, your choice. After this, in all of our other vinyasas, you're welcome to take any deeper variations of forward fold that you would like, including Gorilla Mudra, Yogic Toe Lock, taking hold of the backs of the ankles, anything. On your next in-breath, come back up to fingertips. So we're almost in a halfway lift. Bend the knees deeply. You can keep the hands to the floor or a block if that makes it easier to sit more deeply. You can reach the hands forward and let the body adjust to find balance, keeping belly and thigh connected. Or without the knees unbending, push down into the feet like mountain feet as we curl up through the torso into our chair pose, Utkatasana. Take a look down if you can see the toes. Nice. If you can't see the toes, still nice, but can you also send the knees back a little more? Asking more from the quads. Good. Stand down through the feet. Get tall. Tall mountain. Exhale. Mountain pose. Tadasana. Or standing. Your choice. Return back to groundedness and heaviness through the feet, especially as we're about to add some more balance to the class. Let the shoulders lift toward the ears and back and down. You can do that 1 or 2 more times. And you can switch in the other direction. We've done the other direction 1 more time just to bring ourselves back to mountain. And on the next inhale, reach the arms up and overhead once again. Root through the feet once more. Little bend to the knees as we hinge from the hips, reaching forward, hands to floor or blocks. Stay grounded through the right foot. Let the left foot get light. And then using your muscle strength, your inner left thigh presses back and starts to rise up into a supported warrior 3. Maybe an unsupported warrior 3 if that's part of your practice. Right hand can reach back like airplane wings. Left hand can follow the same. Feel yourself hugging the big toe ball mound to center. So we're staying very neutral here through that back leg. And on the next exhale, as you continue to reach through the crown of the head forward, start to bend the right knee to bring the left foot back to the floor. Inhale to reach up for just a second in our crescent lunge. Thighs hug to center, feet hug to center. And on the exhales, hands come down to heart center. Spin the back heel down and adjust your stance for warrior 2. You can extend the arms out. For just a second, we're going to play with this. Good. Front knee over the front ankle, if that's right for your body. On the next inhale, bend the elbows. Cactus arms. Interlace the hands behind the head. Let the head push into the hands. Let the elbows maybe open a little wider. And as the hands hug the back of the head, lift and lengthen out through the crown of the head, giving some nice traction to the neck here. So our chin is still staying parallel to the floor, but we're reaching through the very top. Nice, saw some adjustments there, great. On our way here to Radiant Warrior, staying here with the neck traction. Can you stay deep in that right knee and start to lengthen the right side of the body while the left side of the body contracts, taking the crown of the head more toward pointing to the back of your mat. If this feels really awkward, feel free to bring left hand down to touch the knee to stabilize. Good. Inhale back to Warrior Two. On the next exhale, reach your hands back out. Reach and lengthen. Let the shoulder blades come apart to start. Then intentionally draw shoulder blades more onto the back. We've got our blocks here today for everybody. On the exhale, either bring your hand to a block to the inside of the right foot or your right hand to the floor inside the right foot. Left hand can reach up to the sky. Left bicep can hug toward left ear and reach more toward the top of the front wall here. Utthita Parshvakonasana. Extended side angle, lengthen here as the right sit bone tucks under and hugs towards the right heel. Keep that outer left hip open. Nice. And on the next exhale, bring both hands to the inside of that right foot. Walk it a little bit wider. Not totally into lizard lunge, but just so we have some space here. So we can turn the left heel up to the sky and take a big step toward the top of your mat, or as many steps as you need to. Check in with the body. Forward fold here. Like I said, any adjustments that you would like to. Deepening it in any way that speaks to you in your practice. Nice, everybody. You have to do that same thing. Second side here. We're going to start to make our forward fold more intentional, grounding down through both feet, making use of the block so we can have our legs long and strong. Staying heavy on the left foot this time. Let the right leg get a little lighter. And sending the energy out through the inner right thigh. Right leg reaches back. Toes are pointing down. You can either drop the head to check or feel that the big toe ball mountain is hugging to center and there's broadness through the low back on the right side. And you can turn this into supported or unsupported Warrior Three. If you're in the unsupported variation, keep your crown of your head reaching toward the front of the room. Keep trying to lengthen to the front of the room even as the left knee bends and the right foot is reaching back behind you. Inhale, rising up. Crescent lunge for just the breath. On the next exhale, hands come down to heart center. Back heel spins down. Stay in Anjali Mudra here for a second in your Warrior Two. See that left big toe to the inside of your left knee. And on the next inhale, extend out through the arms. Good. Warrior Two. Tadasana through that front foot. Bend the elbows, cactus arms. We'll interlace the fingers again the exotic way. Different pinky finger at the top of the interlace. Head pushes back. Neck lengthens. Crown of the head reaches up as the shoulder blades move down. And on the next inhale, the left side of the torso is expanding while the right side is contracting to come back into reverse or Radiant Warrior. Radiant is a nicer word, right? There's something we can feel with that, a sense in ourselves. And if you need to bring the right hand down to the right thigh to make this more accessible for you, do so. The next inhale, come back to your Warrior Two with the arms extending out. And on your next exhale, using a block to the inside of the left foot, or not, bring the hand to the floor or block. Top arm, shoulders are stacked, Right ear is hugging more toward the right arm rather than the head dropping. Left sit bone is tucking to left heel while the right stays open. Good. A little different here coming out of this. On the exhale, bring both hands down to the inside of that left foot, left foot. Walk it all the way to the edge of your mat this time. Bring both hands to the middle. Come up onto the ball of the right foot, heel to the sky. And on the exhale, one step or many is going to meet the left at the top of the mat, both wide to opposite ends. You can come on forearms to thighs here for intermediate way to Malasana. If you would like to, you can bring triceps to the insides of the knees and start to sit down more deeply while we activate our core so we're staying more upright, lifting and lengthening out through the crown of the head. Nice. Use blocks if you need to. Nice, everyone. How much effort does it take to feel a little bit more grounded through the heels? We'll be here for about 3 more breaths. It's a long time in this. You can come out if you need to. Some of us may want to move on to Bakasana or crow pose, where you bring the hands out in front of us, keeping the knees and thighs pressing into the upper arms and shoulders. Let the hips get lighter. Let the heels get lighter as we put more weight into the hands. Grip the mat with your finger pads, then reground the fingers if the knuckles have lifted. And as you put even more weight into the hands, lift one foot and then the other or both. And do this deep core work like cat stretch. And you can do that on your back if you would like to do that. Without the arm balance version, that is perfectly fine. Good. For anyone who is still in it, no one is, you can jump back from it if you would like to. You might hop into it just for a second so that you can do the jump back. Also, totally fine. Both inner thighs stay lifted to do so as we intentionally and energetically kick out through the feet. Lower hips to the floor for all of us as we come forward. Cobra pose, up dog. Maybe just a second to catch your breath. Nice. Come back down to the floor or chaturanga. Press up and back to your down dog. We have 2 things here for a twist. We have the option of doing a twist in our down dog. I'll give cues for that. If that does not sound like where your body is today, you're going to walk, step, hop to the top of your mat, and you will do a twist in your Uttanasana using your blocks. If you're interested in doing this in down dog, it seems like most of us are. You're going to walk your back feet in just 1 footprint each, so it's a little bit of a shorter stance. You're going to stay heavy through both feet, and more specifically on the left hand. And you're going to bend the left knee, so now there's even more weight in the right foot and the left hand. And bring the right hand back to take hold of the outer left shin as you press the inner thigh back and the heel down to take a twist in your down dog, Parivrtta Adho Mukha Svanasana, or in a forward fold, but everybody's here for it. Nice. Inhale to come back to your down dog. If you need to come down for a second, do so. If not, now the right knee bends, so there's more weight in the left foot and the right hand, and the left hand reaches back for the outer right shin, knee, ankle, wherever it might be. And as we make the connection, we lengthen the right leg to draw us into the twist. Good. Inhale to unwind. We're already partway toward the top of your mat. You can continue to walk yourself to the top of the mat, or you can take a big step or leap forward. Nice. Find yourself in your Uttanasana. You can slowly roll up the spine if you would like to. We're going to do some chair poses here, so maybe we'll bypass chair on our way up. And as you rise back up, settle back and down into your mountain pose. Good. So we're going to find chair, 2 options for a twist in chair. Some of us will stay in the twist and step back to a twisted crescent lunge. Some of us will come out of the twist to come back into a crescent lunge and then take a easier twist as an option, all right? So we have an idea. Exhale anything that just went through your mind about the idea. We don't have to take all of it. It's a thing to try, and if it's not today, it's not today. If you know you need a smaller twist for any reason in the back or anything that's going on in your body, take a stance as wide as your hips, or as wide as your, hips, and the twist will be elbow to same side knee instead of coming all the way over, all right? On the inhale, reach up and lengthen from wherever you are. There's balance that's about to happen, so really feel grounded through both feet. On the exhale, sit back and down into your chair. And we're not doing the arms pressing down, but can you still find a little more lift through the heart? And on the exhale, either some of us coming into cactus arms, so we can take elbow to same side knee for a more gentle twist, or bringing hands to heart center, sit back and down a little deeper, lengthen through the spine, and take right elbow to the outside of the left knee or left thigh. Otherwise, it is right elbow to the inside of the right knee. So take a look down, see that both of your knees are in the same plane. One isn't further ahead than the other. Adjust as you need to. And you can unwind out of this to step back into crescent lunge. We're putting more weight into the left foot. Bend the right knee even more deeply so we have heel to sit bone. Right leg extends back. Ball of the foot finds the floor. Land in your twisted crescent lunge. Or from your crescent lunge, you can bring right hand to the floor, left hand to the sky. Options along the way here. Good. And you can spread the wings if you would like to. Some of us are doing that already, whether it's to the outside of that right leg or left leg or not. Good. On the inhale, come back to hands at heart center, regardless of the variation you're at. Untwist. Plant the hands. Shoot the left leg back for your plank pose. Some of us will keep the back knees lifted to move through chaturanga into an up dog or all the way down to the floor. But we want to build some strength here in the upper arms for what's coming later. So if this is not your pose, lower the knees straight down without hugging them forward so it's a longer table. And on the exhale, bend the elbows back as you lower halfway down, pivoting from the knees down, which takes some of the pressure off, and either find your way totally down to the floor for cobra or rising up for up dog. Good. Nice. Exhale back to the floor or chaturanga. Ultimately coming back to down dog for 3 breaths. You can stay low to the floor if you need the extra breath. Good. Send right leg to the sky. Good, take a big step forward. Let the left foot follow. Uttanasana, folding in. In your Uttanasana, with hands to the floor, bend the knees deeply, find your chair pose. Before you come in too deeply into it, take it hips width distance or feet touching, depending on where you want to go with the second side of the sequence here, and rise up into your chair. Good. Exhale, pull down, all of us, for our cactus arms. Left elbow will be to the inside of the left knee for some of us. For others, we'll bring hands to heart center. And as the sit bones reach back and down, keep reaching up with the crown of the head to find length. Then left elbow taps the outside of the right knee. Maybe it is more tricep to knee or tricep to thigh. Again, take a look down, see that both of your knees are in the same plane to start. nice and neutral as we can be in this twist. Put more weight into the right foot, bend the left knee, heel to sit bone. Shoot that left leg back, right knee bends. Exhaling to deepen your twist. Maybe sing with Anjane Mudra through the hands. Maybe spreading your wings. Maybe left hand is under left shoulder. Less deep of a twist, your choice. Good. Nice, everyone. Inhale to unwind. Place the hands down to the floor. Either full-on chaturanga or all the way to the floor for cobra, or knees down. Do the supported work of knees down in chaturanga to focus on the upper arms and the strength through the triceps and the shoulders. Inhale for your back bend if you haven't already. Exhale to come back down. Inhale, press up to your down dog. Good. And from our down dogs, similar to something we did last week, but we're going to take into a different place here. We're going to come forward, back to plank, lower the knees straight down to find your usual tabletop. If you would like blocks to give you some support with core work here and doing more of the lifting, have blocks on their lowest or medium height underneath the hands. But we're going to take Garudasana legs here. So the blocks can sometimes really be helpful if you would like to take them. Find neutral here to start though. Hands are pressing down, hugging back gently toward the knees while the knees hug forward. Inhale for a cow stretch. Good. Exhale for a cat stretch. Inhale to your neutral. And with the weight into both hands, we're going to walk the left knee to the center of the body. And on your next exhale, we're going to hug right knee to chest. Maybe the right big toe touches the left knee. Maybe the heel touches the left thigh. Maybe the foot moves all the way off to the left shin and the right knee lands in front of the left. Good. Untuck the toes. You can stay just here like this. This is as pretzely as we're going to get for a little bit. As you press the hands down and away, let the sit bones settle back toward the heels behind you. I feel this much more on the outer left hip, which is actually my right, but mirroring. If you want to make some little movements, if that feels nice, do so. We have a second side to do with this. Nice. On the inhale, pushing into the left shin and the left foot, send yourself back to your table. And you can simply undo that right leg in any way you would like to, or with a lot more effort, hug right knee back to shoulder or to chest. Start to hug and draw the right foot in front of the left. Send it back. Take your knees back to hips width distance. You can come onto finger pads just to bring your wrist back to neutral for a second. All right, if you want to use blocks for the second side, have your blocks. Bring your right knee into center. On the exhale, draw left knee to chest, tightly as you can. Left toe touches the right inner knee. Maybe it's the heel in front. Maybe the left foot finds the opposite side of your right shin. Left knee in front of the right. Toes are untucked once again. Slowly, with little pulses or with a sustained, gentle movement, send the hips back towards the heels. It does not mean they're touching. And just another breath or two here. Good. Also, for the people who are brand new to me, I don't actually count those things when I say that. To come out as we push into the top of the right foot, into the right shin, to send ourselves back to our table with a lot of effort, or however you want to unwind. Right knee comes forward, or left knee comes forward, left foot crosses back into the left plane, both knees meet, and you can keep the thigh or the shins parallel, or take the knees wider and press back to a child's pose. And keeping the arms overhead, press the palms down, keep this active. Even as you press the tops of the feet down, engage the core, send more of sit bones towards the heels. If you would like more, press the finger pads down, let the palms come away from the floor. Try hugging the fingers together, but they're so grounded, like our mountain feet, that they don't actually move and get closer. And you can stay here if this feels like a nice opening through the shoulders. You can keep the opening through the shoulders and also start to walk both hands off to your right for a side stretch. If you're walking your hands off to the right, that left hand might want to reach even more. And can you keep that left shoulder heavy so we're not lifting and twisting in the side stretches more, as we're staying neutral and parallel to the floor? Your inhale brings you back to center. Your exhale walks you off to the second side. The side that is stretching the most, that hand might try to walk a little further still to lengthen further in the stretch. And on the inhale, bring yourself back to center. Bring the palms back down to the floor. Pull yourself forward into table. And you can either take hips to one side, feet to the other, or cross at the shins. Send the sit bones back over. And come to have a seat with your legs extended, little bend to the knees. Good. Ooh, flush away from the sit bones. Maybe the feet start to walk in a little bit more here, trying to find something like 90 degrees. And maybe we're up here on our fingertips, maybe we stay here the whole time for some core work. Otherwise, we're going to keep adding to core work, and anywhere along the way here, you are welcome to back up or back off or come into rest. So here with the hands behind us here still, press the heels down, hug the inseam of the legs together, and as you keep doing both of those things, also hug the heels towards the sit bones. So we want heart reaching forward. If we can do that while we take hold of the shins or the thighs, can do so. If you can keep the heart hugging forward and the knees hugging to chest, maybe you reach the hands out in front of us. Maybe one foot and then the other, or both. Knees hug in, but heart still reaches forward. So there's a moving back, but my heart keeps reaching. It's wanting to move forward. All right, so we'll be here for a few breaths. You might stay here. On the next inhale, you might more intentionally lift shins parallel to the floor and hug big toe ball mounds to center, so there's internal rotation happening through the legs. Maybe you extend out through the heels and point the toes, even as knees keep hugging to chest and chest keeps reaching forward. Maybe on the exhale, we start to lower down, heels and shoulder blades just an inch away from the floor. I'm not going to measure, it's all right. But find the contraction here that keeps heels lifted and shoulders lifted in Ardha Navasana, one of the few poses that have that half name in it that actually feels more difficult than the full pose, right? Or if not, we can stay here. Inhale, if you've got it, come up. Bring the heels down, bring the hands down. Whew. Everyone else has been in other classes that for like a half boat pose or a half pose, that is like 10 times more than the full one, right? All right. Good, catch your breath. We'll just stretch out the front of the body here real fast. setting up for a reverse table. So it's similar to boat through the legs, except our feet are fully pressed down into the floor. We can have our fingers pointing away from us for more openness through the chest and shoulders. If we have tightness that prevents us from doing it deeper, if we just want the bigger opening. Or you can turn your fingers to point in the same direction as the toes. Now there's internal rotation. There's a different shape through the upper body and the upper back. Right, elbows bend a little bit to still find some freedom and openness. And on the inhales, we stand down through the feet, press down through the length of the arms as they straighten. Send knees forward, hips up, and keep your gaze down the front of the body. And keep the thighs hugging the center. Stay strong through all four corners of both feet. Without letting the head drop back, if you'd like to go further, reach the crown of the head back to try to touch the back of the room. As much length through the cervical spine as we can find. Then without letting the head just drop back, and you start to tilt the chin up towards the sky, so it's just the back of the head that's lowering, but the ears still generally stay in line with the shoulders. And on the inhale, you can lift your head back to neutral or back down the front of the body, lower hips down to the floor. Extend the legs out, shake them around. And with our legs straight out in front of us, make adjustments to your seat for Baddha Konasana, including sitting up on a blanket or any other supports that you might need. With the hands behind us, draw both heels in. Let the knees open wide as the feet, soles of the feet come to touch. And then thumb with the fingers, take hold of the fronts of the ankles or the shins. You can allow yourself to lean back a little bit with the shoulder blades coming apart, so there's a little bit of a cow stretch that we're doing here. Then very intentionally hugging shoulder blades onto the back, send heart forward as we become more upright. And we can make little movements through the legs here if you would like to. Soles of the feet pressed together if we're staying more upright. If you would like to take more of a forward fold, you can let the big toe ball mounds come apart as the elbows bend, pressing into the inner thighs, but keep heart lifting. So think cow stretch. Maybe the hands start to walk further forward here. Wherever we're going, we want to be mindful that the heels are pressing into each other, that the knees are hugging into the hips, to more deeply ground and root into yourself. And from that space, without them really moving that much, the knees reach wide and press down. Good. If you're in the forward fold, on the inhale, slowly start to come up. If you're not in the forward fold, we're all going to meet each other here. You can bring your right foot in a little closer. You can walk the feet so that we're crossing at the shins for Sukhasana, where we usually start in class, but it is 43 minutes in and we find ourselves doing this. Usually when we do this at the end, Sukhasana becomes one place where we can check back in with ourselves and find out what changed throughout our practice. So we have this happening here partway in between. Also, just a chance to find some stillness, some more gentleness with the hip opening, as I show a different variation here for Bharadvadrasana, for a twist before we get into our bigger pose here. So Bharadvadrasana is usually ankle to knee, foot is behind us, either twisting more gently this way, or wrapping ourselves behind ourselves and twisting. But Bharadvadrasana 2 has a half lotus through the leg, half Padmasana. So we still have left leg here off to the side, but the right leg comes in, heel into the hip crease, which is how we would be in Padmasana. We want to be mindful about the knee here. And we've got our straps for today. If we would like to, because it can be a really big reach, we wrap the strap around the right foot, right hand takes hold of the right foot, left hand does the pulling to take us into the twist. All right? So you don't have to do that variation. Both shins on the floor is perfectly fine, all right? But we started here, I think all of us had right knee in, right, or right foot in for our Sukhasana. So we'll lean more to the right, undo the left leg, start with left knee into the right, the arch of your right foot. Have your strap by you if you would like to take the half Padmasana variation. If you would like to take the half Padmasana variation, like I said, we're going to be very mindful about this knee here. We're not just yanking and pulling the lower part of the leg. Taking hold of the middle part of the shin, lifting, and then more intentionally drawing heel or ankle into the hip crease. You've got your strap, you can just place it around the top of the foot. The foot's going to stay active to hold it, and just send the strap behind you so that the right hand can find it. Oh, lots of us are going for it. Awesome. Left hand reaches off to the side here. Take hold of the right, so what am I going to say here? We're not just reaching back behind ourselves. We're intentionally turning the hands thumbs down, but not a thumbs down for the pose. Bend the elbow to reach back, so we're giving some nice support and lift to this right shoulder as we reach for, where the left hand feeds the strap into the right. Left hand finds right knee. On the exhale, as we draw and pull on the right hand with the left knee, sending the left shoulder blade forward, hugging the right shoulder back behind us, keeping the head neutral to start again, or if it is right for you, you might start to turn your gaze over the right shoulder. You might start to walk that right hand down the strap, getting a little closer to the toes for today, for tomorrow, for next year. Good. Inhale as you're ready to unwind. Release the strap. Release with control the right shin back down to the floor. Felt all right for the people who are getting into it? All right, cool. So we'll try the second side, which you also don't have to do if something in your body says this is not the side for that. So we lean back, switch the legs. Now it is the left leg in front. If you're going to come into Bharadvadrasana 1, where it is right hand to left knee and the left hand stays on the floor, or right hand finds the middle part of your shin. Hug and lift in and carry ankle onto the thigh or hip crease. Strap around the top of the left foot. And reach the left hand back. Turn the palm away from you. Bend the elbow and reach back behind yourself. Maybe just bring the back of the hand to the low back while you feed the strap into it. Again, you can deepen this over the course of time. Right hand takes hold of the right knee. That is true whether in 1 or 2. And on the exhale, as you pull and draw the right shoulder more towards the left shoulder presses back behind you to try to chase the right shoulder, creating this twist where there maybe then becomes the space to walk the hands up the strap. If it feels all right in the neck, maybe your gaze goes over the left shoulder. Nice full inhale and exhale. In your next inhale, we unwind. Release the strap, release the leg. Extend the right leg out, extend the left leg out. Felt all right on that side for everybody as well? All right, cool. So one more thing before we come into Ardha Matsyendrasana, which we have a surprise for some of us afterwards. We'll see where we go with it. Gomukhasana, we've done a lot with the hip opening here, a lot with the twisting, a lot with happening through the lower body. If for whatever reason Gomukhasana is full Gomukhasana is not where you are, you're going to keep your extended leg out, maybe a little bit more to center though, and do half, right? One of the times where Ardha means easier also. So it would just be left knee on top of right, and then other way around. But you can still have your strap by your side because we'll do some things with the arms as well as we typically do in this pose. So legs coming together, drawing the right knee in. Pause and just notice how this feels to have the right knee to the chest. This is very close to some of the things that start to happen in Ardha Matsyendrasana. Right foot crosses over the left. Maybe it keeps on walking off to the side there, so we have ankle or knee on top of knee. This ankle stays active though, in neutral. We can lean off to the left, bend the left knee, heel to the right side. Again, keep that foot active so that we're looking out for our ankles always. Adjust your seat. You can stay here, taking hold of the knee, whether you're in the full or half variation. If you'd like to do the bind, you'll have the strap in your right hand. Inhale to reach both arms up, strap in the right hand if you have it. Bend the elbow, bring the hand to the nape of the neck or to the center of the spine. Head is pushing back instead of the forearm pushing the head forward. Left hand takes right elbow, it pushes up as left hand presses down. Maybe you stay here, and slowly walk forearm in line with the spine. If you've got the strap hanging out of the right hand there, you can reach left arm off to the side. We just did this, palm turns away, bend the elbow to reach back behind yourself. Back of the hand presses in first as a reminder to lift and lengthen. And then maybe the left hand starts to walk up. Maybe it finds the fingers, maybe it's just the strap. Left shoulder is lifting up and on the back though, so there's openness here on the side. Last thing for another breath, if you've got it and want it, elbows try to pull away from each other. Good. Nice lift there for some of you doing that. Inhale to release. You can either extend the legs out in front, or some of us know what's coming. This is not the surprise. Frame out the right foot there on your left side. Lift the hips. Walk your hands back behind you and make a complete circle. And when you come back to the front, opposite side. Then we adjust because that is not the easy way to get into it. Good. This side is more difficult. Take your bottom leg, extend out. Strap will be in the left hand this time if you're using the strap. Reach both arms up and overhead. The left elbow bend, right hand to left elbow. Elbow pushes up, hand presses down, head presses back. On your next exhale, or for each of your exhales here, maybe you start to bring elbow and forearm more in line with the spine. Right arm reaches out, palm turns away. Bend the elbow, connect to the low back to start. That gives us the lift. Then we reconnect to our core. Then right hand either takes hold of the strap, walks up the strap, or finds its way up the back to find the left fingers. Right shoulder lifting up, open and grounded. And after another breath here, if you would like to, elbows can pull away from each other. Good. Inhale to unwind. Lean back, nothing fancy this time, just extend the legs out. Dandasana, actual pose. Legs long, inner thighs heavy, big toe ball mountains pressing to center. Spread the toes. So I asked last week about turning eagle pose into an arm balance, and there was not a lot of yeses to it. So we're going to sneak something in here from Ardha Matsyendrasana. We've been doing a lot with the upper arms. We've been doing a lot with finding length in the arms. We've been doing a lot with legs crossing over and getting tight through our core here. In our Ardha Matsyendrasana, if you're able to come into it fully, there'll be a couple of places to play today. But whatever foot is crossing over, your ability to get this inner edge of the foot really grounded is what does the deeper stretch through the outer thigh here. You can stay upright. You can take it into the inside of the elbow to support you with the twist. You can come into a more Ashtanga style where the right hand finds the right knee. That is super tight. That's not necessarily where we're going. But if this is something you can do or almost do, you can bring the hands forward. Just like we did in our Gomukhasana, we can start to lift through the hips and turn Ardha Matsyendrasana into Ekapada Kundalini 2. I'll give the cues for that. We don't just rise up into it. But that's the thing that we're taking. That'll be our peak pose. Everything after that will be coming down. I love Ardha Matsyendrasana. I could just stay in it without doing the extra thing. But sometimes extra is also fun. So there's nothing that says you have to go any further in any of that progression than you would like to. All right, we'll try it once. We'll check in with everybody. We'll do it a second time. Neutralize the front side of the body. Shavasana. Move on with the rest of our day, all right? So with the legs extended out, we will draw left knee in first. We did the right side once already like this, and just pause and notice what it takes to have knee close into the body, thigh close into the body. Left foot crosses over the right, and then rather than continue to walk out like Gomukhasana, we plant that foot as much as possible. It might even help to lean a little bit in that direction to have support, and then to ground down more through the left side then. I saw it for everybody, just like, whoop, there we are, a little bit of length, just half an inch, quarter of an inch. You can stay here, keeping this right leg extended, or bend the right heel into the left side of the sit bone. Again, maybe we're just practicing here, staying tight and lifted. Just like in Navasana pose, it is knees in, heart forward. You can stay here. You can bring the inside of the right elbow around the left knee, interlace the fingers or take hold of shins or wrists or forearms to support you in a twist. You can bring left hand to the floor. Continue to hug left knee to the right as you reach right arm up to the sky. And as you lengthen through the spine on the exhale, pull down like you're doing a pull up to bring the outer right tricep to the outer left thigh. And you can stay here, keeping the arms active. You want to play with just doing more openness here. You can reach right hand for right knee. If any of those is where you'd like to stop, stop there. Come out if and when you need to. If you want to move into an arm balance, or possibly in the future, playing around getting to that space, you're going to bring both hands out in front of you to the left. As we put more weight into the hands, we're lifting the hips away from the floor like we did in our Gomukhasana transition. That left leg, right leg starts to reach back as I come into Chaturanga arms with the outer left thigh resting on the right tricep. I'm tilting forward more, putting more weight into the hands, extending out through both heels. Maybe bending both knees to come into side crow and back and down. Nice, nice, nice. Nice. Clapping with feet, yes. Questions besides why? All right. We'll try the other side. Again, there's 4 different places to go here along the way. Go where it is right for your body in this moment. If everybody loves this thing that we're doing, I'm happy to bring it back lots of times in class. So we did left knee in first, right, on the side. Now we'll do right knee in. Right foot crosses over, grounds down firmly, including maybe leaning a little bit more to the left to ground down through the right foot, and then finding length through the right sit bone. Staying here in the half variation, or bending left knee, heel to sit bone. Essentially Gomukhasana leg on the bottom there. You're staying more upright here without the twist and doing the core work and everything you need to make yourself tight and small for this. Or bringing the elbow around the knee, supporting a gentle twist. Starting to make that twist more active. If you would like to, with the right hand pressing down, left arm to the sky, lengthen. Keep that length as you pull down to bring elbow to the outside, maybe tricep to the outside of the left leg. Staying here, elbow and knee push into each other for the twist. Maybe left hand finds left knee, more Ashtanga style. Maybe left hand finds its way someplace in front of the left shin. Right hand walks a little bit in that direction as well. Push into the edge of the feet to lift the hips and to start to put more weight into the hands. You can start to send that left leg back a little bit as you keep the right thigh on the right tricep, tilting into the hands. Chaturanga through the arms, extending out through the heels. Ekapada Kundanyasana 2. Into side crow if you would like to come out. There you are, further on that side. Catch your breath. Unwind if you're not doing any of the other fancy stuff. Extra stuff, whatever. Everything can be fancy. As I said, we're going to hop into this right at 1 o'clock for our Shavasana. If you need bridge, Shavasana is going to be a nice neutral pose for the whole front side of the body. There's nothing that says you have to do anything more than that if you want to come right into Shavasana. If you'd like to take bridge pose for just 5 or 6 breaths to open up the front side, to intentionally be more open and not just neutral to counter anything from the twist, allow yourself to come into your bridge pose instead of Shavasana. I said just about 5 or 6 breaths. So if you're going right into Shavasana, you'll have just about an extra minute on your Shavasana. And take all this stuff for everyone who is here doing your bridge pose that we were talking about. Really ground down through the feet. Even if you can't see, can you feel or sense that your second toes are pointing straight forward, that your legs are neutral, that we're hugging to center to open up the low back. We're pressing down into the shoulder blades and into the upper arms to find that lift. And the back of the head is pressing down so that the neck is lifting away from the floor. And it is chest rising to chin, not chin sinking to chest. If and when we do that, when the neck finds the floor, then everything you learned in high school physics says force and gravity are going to pass through it. And so as most of you have heard me say before, bridge pose is about the bridge of the neck. It's the smallest part of the shape, maybe, that gives the whole thing the name. And exhale to come out of it because we're probably way past 5 or 6 breaths. If you like to windshield wiper the legs or anything final before you come into your Shavasana, do so. And then allow yourself to arrive in Shavasana with all of the intention of every other pose that you did today. Each exhale, an opportunity to release more tension, more distraction. Each inhale, an opportunity to hold the space that was cleared. Let your next inhale be deeper than the last. And your next inhale deeper still. Beginning to make little movements from the very edges of yourselves. The fuller breath, the prana and the life force reawaken us. Allowing breath, mind, and body to move together as one once again as you start to make bigger movements. Maybe that looks like legs touching as you reach arms overhead, inhaling, stretching toe tips away from fingertips. And exhale, stretching heels away from fingertips. Inhale to stretch fingers and toes away from each other once more. And on the exhale that follows, draw into yourself. Give yourself a nice big hug. And rock around back and forth, up and down the length of the spine, whatever feels good on any parts of the body and your back there that are saying, massage me. And you can either roll off to one side or rock and roll right on up to have a seat in your Sukhasana, cross at the shins, maybe Siddhasana with outer foot heel touching inner foot ankle, which is connected to inner foot to center of the body. Hands can rest palms down. Or in Anjali Mudra, once more, an opportunity to remind yourself as you step off of the mat to continue to honor and to revere yourself for all that you are and all that you are capable of. If you'd like to just continue to find that exploration with the breath and the mind as you sit here, do so. Or if you'd like to join with me in the sound of one Om, exhale completely, to inhale fully. The light in me bows to the light in each of you. Namaste, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. This is a nice full class. We're back from unofficial summer ending, but there are still 3 more weeks of it. Go to the beach if you can. It's also the quietest time to go there, with the weather still nice and the water still nice. Back to usual schedule here after this. So I'm back on Mondays at 6:30 in the evening for the full, a full spectrum, all levels, 75-minute class that's held up here. As in addition to the other times, Wednesdays this time here. Coming up this weekend is Foundations of Teaching Kids Yoga with Sarah DeSimone. Day after on Sunday, Anisha is leading Ganesha Stories, Lessons for Ganesha's Birthday. That's at 5:30. Later than that, I don't know how that goes, so maybe there's something happening with the room downstairs, is Harmonious Healing Sound Bath with Elizabeth Zach at 6:45. Then that Monday after at 6:30, so I'll be up here. Elizabeth will be downstairs. Foundations of Mindfulness Meditation. It's a 4-week series. Let's see, beginning next Tuesday, Shai is beginning the Baby and Me Yoga 8-week series again. It is Tuesdays at 10 a.m. for 8 weeks. And Shaya also leads the Postpartum Yoga and Support Group, another 8-week series that is at that same time, but on Thursdays. If you or you know anybody who's interested, there's that. Kids Yoga Fun Night the following Saturday. And then later on this month is just 2 classes. No, 2 weekends. 9/21 and 22, and 10/26 and 27 is a hands-on assist yoga teacher training with Alex and Mariel. And then on the 27th, the yoga immersion starts up again if anyone is interested. Be well, stay safe. Thank you. It was great seeing everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week. Thank you, everybody online. How do I get out of here? Oh, there we are. You're welcome. Yes, we don't have to do all the things either. You're welcome. You got some of them, and you're working into arm balances.
Maybe not this year.
We'll do a lot more work with it. It'll be great.